I'm now joined by expert in diseases, Dr. Bharat Pankania. Bharat, afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon.
The government denies it, but are we on course for a second national lockdown?
I don't think the government has got the vertebral column to have a second national lockdown. It will probably be enforced by default, but we are where we are. And I personally think there should be a regional approach and allow the regions to also run the outbreak controls. We are resisting giving it up to the regions to manage, and that is a big failing.
Well, what are we seeing in other European countries? Because it looks as if they are now going into lockdowns. And of course, they did that at the start of this pandemic, and it seemed that we were too late to do our lockdown when the time arrived.
Yes, we always seem to be following our European cousins. The point we need to address is what happens after the lockdown. And just a lockdown is an elastoplast. We need to work out what will we do, what will we achieve with a lockdown. And what we want to achieve, and I think it is very important, is a lockdown enables you to bring down the case numbers. Then to keep the case numbers down, delegate the authorities to the local regions to run the show. This is very important. And also enable people who need to stay at home to be supported to stay at home with financial help. And if all those measures are given to the regions to run efficiently, properly, and monitor and enforce it, I think we will be in a better place in 3 months' time.
So why would a localised approach be better than the centralised approach?
Well, look, let me share with you a working example. Some local authorities have been given the green light to set up their own contact tracing. I'm leading on one of them in one of the local authorities. I have a team. We talk every day and we make dynamic, immediate decisions. So, for example, on a Friday, I get a phone call saying a healthcare worker in a nursing home has been tested positive. We don't go home until we've gone to that nursing home and said all your contacts of that care worker, pull them out of circulation, do a risk assessment, and do what we need to do to protect that nursing home. That is what I call local responsiveness and local dynamic responsiveness.
The fact that we're seeing, though, this increase in cases, does that not mean that the testing system's actually working?
No, with the testing system is centrally run, and we know of the cases that we know of, but there are many cases that we don't know of because they've not been able to get tested, etc. Having said that, I will give you this, that the United Kingdom has got a lot of testing per 100,000 population. We are leading in terms of how many tests we're doing. I would like to again ask, allow us to work out who needs these tests. That way we can increase or keep that capacity to test at a better level, rather than a blanket, go get your test. That doesn't work. Whereas if we were in charge locally, we would be able to say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And that way we keep the capacity of testing that we've built up working as well as it can be.
But, Bharat, people are being tested positive for this, and of course they should be self-isolating. And it appears they're not. How do you get people to comply?
Yeah, again, we need that authority, and that authority delegated to local enforcement to make sure that they do stay. And they need to be supported. Some people need the money and they are flouting the law, which is sad. But if we had more authority locally, we could send our own, what we would call enforcers, to make sure that people who need to be out of circulation are out of circulation.
But we're seeing in Europe and, of course, here, a surge in people saying this is a conspiracy theory. Our freedoms are being curbed as a result of this. And people, the anti-vaxxers, the anti-maskers, that seems to be growing in trend in some ways. How worried are you about that? And what's your message to those who don't simply seem to realise there is a problem here?
Yes, it's very unfortunate. We need to get the succinct messages out. And in fact, perhaps show them that, look, this is what a coronavirus COVID-19 disease person looks like, because it is real, it is serious, and this virus is not an invention of anyone. It really is a pandemic strain. And we got to get those messages right, that this is not a conspiracy to restrict people's movements. The reason why movements and restrictions are in place is to protect them and protect the hospitals from not becoming overwhelmed.
Just finally, and very briefly if you don't mind, mixed messages about a potential vaccine now. Where are we with that? What hopes do you have?
I am very positive, and I feel that eventually we will get a vaccine that works. And I also want to share with our viewers that just because you don't have antibodies doesn't mean that you're not immune to that infection. So there were mixed messages on Monday that no antibodies means not immune. That's not true.
Dr. Bharat Pankhania, thank you very much indeed for joining us live here on RT UK.
Thank you.